In this video, I'm going to show you how to create this infinite loop effect. So let's get into it. So before we jump into our video editor, we first just want to make sure that we have some footage. And this footage can be handheld, it can be static. It honestly doesn't make too much difference, but because I was filming this myself, mine is static. So what I've done is I've put my phone onto a tripod, just filmed myself holding a mug, and then I'm walking up to the lens and covering the lens with a mug. And it's really important. And of course, you don't have to use a mug or a cup. You could use something else, but essentially you want a window that the lens can travel through. So you could grab a mug like I've done in my example. You could grab a lens hood like this. You could grab a notebook and you could take a hole out of the middle and maybe travel through the center of the page. You could go through a photo frame. Whatever you choose to go through, just make sure that you can travel through the center of this. And then once you've got this footage captured, we can simply just drop this into Adobe After Effects and we can begin editing this effect. So as you can see, we're inside of Adobe After Effects and I've got my first clip on the timeline ready to go. So this is just me leaning up against the wall. I'm holding a mug. I walk up and I place this mug in front of the lens. And this circle at the bottom of the mug is what I'm going to use to create this transition. So first of all, I just want to create a mask inside of that mug. So I'm going to go through to the point where this stops. So somewhere around here, we'll select this layer. Then I'm just going to go into the pen tool, or alternatively, because this is round, I could go into the ellipse tool, and that's what I'm going to do for this one. Then I'm just going to draw an ellipse in the middle of the frame. Now, as you can see, because it's removing everything else, it's a bit difficult to see those lines. So I'm just going to go into this add option and select none. So this is basically saying it's not going to cut anything. We're just adding this outline, this mask in. And now you can just go ahead and update that mask so that it now fits the bottom of this mug or follows this shape. Then from there, you want to go into the mask and create a brand new keyframe on mask path. Now we'll move back in time a little bit and you want to just adjust this mask so that it is now following this circle again. So we'll just pull this down here, pull this to there, pull this to there, pull that point to there, and then you just want to update these so that it is now perfectly fitting. And then you just want to work through frame by frame and make sure that this mask is perfectly following the movement throughout every part of this video. So as you can see, between those 2 points, that mask is following. So as you could imagine, this first part is going to take a while, unfortunately. But it's really important work and you have to make sure you do a clean job of this because otherwise the effect will fall apart. So just go through and every time a change happens, you just want to move everything down into place. Now this is going to take me quite a while to do this, so I'm just going to speed up this part in the edit and I'll see you on the other side once I have completed this part of the process. Cool, so as you can see, if I go through frame by frame, you can see this mask is now following this mug. It's following this circle at the bottom of the mug. So in order to proceed with the next section, you first just want to change this to subtract. So you can see it's going to remove everything inside of this mask. Now, as you can see, it's very difficult to completely get rid of this mask because no matter what I do, there's going to be this small dot in the middle of the frame. So I'll go through to the point where this mask should first appear, create a brand new keyframe on mask expansion. Then I'll go back to the point where it shouldn't be there and I'll just pull this down to a negative number until that disappears. So the mask should now appear as I tilt the mug. So at this moment in time, we can now continue this movement. Because I couldn't get the mug any closer to the lens, I had to stop there. But we can continue the movement. So as this comes in, we'll create a brand new keyframe on the scale and the position. And then we'll go through towards the end of the movement and we'll just increase the scale so that we travel through this circle. So let's play this back. And you can see that's our transition. But the problem is that feels a little bit clunky. So I'm just going to convert those keyframes to Easy Ease keyframes. So we'll right click, Keyframe Assistant, Easy Ease. And when we play that back, that feels a bit softer now. Of course, if you wanted to start the zoom earlier, you can just nudge those keyframes over to the left. And that looks good. So at this moment in time, we've added this mask in, and this is going to help ease into the next clip. If you wanted to, by the way, you could add a little bit of feathering just to soften up the corner of that mask. So we'll pull that up to around 10. And that's just going to help to soften that transition. But if that completely ruins what you're going for, then feel free to pull that down or completely remove it. So now when this mask appears, we want to add in this same clip. So we're just going to close this down. We'll copy that first clip. So Command C, Command V on Mac, or Control C, Control V on Windows. And we'll nudge this second clip over to the line where that mask appears. And as you can see, we can now see that layer below coming through. But of course, the problem is because you've got this mug coming in and you've got this static layer underneath, it feels like this layer should be moving. So we're just going to go through to here, just to the point where the transition's near completed. We'll create a new keyframe on scale. So we'll press S, create a brand new keyframe on scale. We'll go through to the beginning and we'll pull that scale down to a smaller number. So we'll go down to about 35 in my example. You can see that scale in is just helping that transition. If you wanted to, you could be quicker getting through to that scale in. Or if you wanted, you could have an even more dramatic scale in. It's completely up to you. So we'll pull this down even further. And that's helping that scale in complete. Of course, if you want to take a longer time and you start to see the edges of the frame, then you can just go into Effects and Presets and search for Motion Tile. We'll drop this onto this layer. We'll change the output width to 300, the output height to 300, and then select Mirror Edges. And that's going to fill in those edges to get rid of those black bars on the left and the right. As you can see, that is there no longer. But Motion Tile is quite a heavy effect on the computer, so I'm just going to turn this off for now, and we'll play this back from the beginning and see what we have. There you go. That's great. So all you need to do now is just keep repeating this process over and over and over again. So we'll go into this layer, go into the mask. So press M, find the point where the mask first appears, which is here. Copy this layer, paste this layer, and then move the bottom layer over to the cursor. And when we play this back, you can see we've got not only one loop, it goes straight into another loop. And we can keep repeating this loop over and over again for as long as we want. And of course as well, once you've completed this effect, don't forget to turn your Motion Tile plugin back in just to fill in those edges. So now when we render this out and we play this back, you'll notice you've got this really awesome infinite looping effect and now playing in Adobe After Effects. So all you need to do is just render this out and put this into your project. And there you go. Thank you ever so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate your support, and hopefully I will see you on the next video. See you there.